For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On the evening of 2010, newlyweds Rhea Kapoor, 27, and Daniel Danny Shaw, 30, departed from their resort in the Mamanuca Islands, Fiji, for a sunset cruise on a rented runabout. They never returned. Despite an extensive search across the pristine waters, Rhea and Daniel vanished without a trace, their small vessel leaving no sign. For 15 years, their families lived with agonizing uncertainty, haunted by rumors of elopement or a tragic accident. Then, after 15 agonizing years, a faint distress signal was detected, pinging intermittently from a submerged channel marker near a treacherous reef pass. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Rhea Kapoor and Daniel Shaw. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. The Mamanuca Islands, a constellation of emerald jewels scattered across Fiji's turquoise expanse, epitomized the quintessential South Pacific dream. Here, the sun-drenched beaches and crystalline waters offered an idyllic sanctuary, particularly for those celebrating new beginnings. In the spring of 2010, among the many couples drawn to this paradise were Rhea Kapoor, a vibrant 27-year-old, and Daniel Danny Shaw, her equally radiant 30-year-old husband. Their honeymoon was a tapestry of shared smiles, leisurely swims, and the boundless optimism of a future together. On what began as another perfect morning, Rhea and Danny decided to venture beyond their resort. They rented a small runabout, a compact motorboat designed for local exploration, intending to navigate the waters around a nearby reef pass. The allure was the promise of secluded coves and vibrant marine life, an intimate adventure away from the main tourist hubs. Their plan was simple: explore the reef, enjoy the afternoon, and return to the resort before dusk. The freedom of the open water, the gentle hum of the outboard motor, and the vast expanse of the Pacific seemed to promise nothing but unadulterated joy. As the late afternoon sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a subtle disquiet began to settle over the resort. Tessa Moore, the resort manager, conducted her routine check of returning vessels. The runabout rented by the Shaws was conspicuously absent. Initially, this was met with a mild concern, easily dismissed as a couple lingering a little longer on their adventure. However, as twilight deepened into full darkness, the absence became more pronounced. Attempts to reach the runabout via marine radio yielded nothing but static. No calls had been logged from their vessel throughout the day. The initial unease steadily morphed into something more chilling. The vibrant sounds of the evening resort faded into the background as the hours ticked by without any sign of Rhea and Danny or their boat. The once idyllic setting now seemed to hold a silent, ominous weight. The shift from carefree bliss to a stark realization that something was terribly wrong was abrupt and profound. The honeymooners, who had set out for a day of exploration, had simply vanished, leaving behind only questions and an unsettling silence that stretched out across the dark waters. The alarm, once a quiet murmur among resort staff, escalated rapidly into a full-scale search and rescue operation as dawn broke over the Mamanuca Islands. Fijian authorities were immediately notified, and Maritime Officer Penny Rocomate quickly assumed command, coordinating efforts that stretched across the sapphire waters. Patrol boats, local fishing vessels, and even private yachts joined the urgent sweep, their crews meticulously scanning the horizon for any sign of Rhea and Danny Shaw's rented runabout. Every hour that passed, however, diminished the hope of a swift resolution. The search parameters were vast and unforgiving. The Mamanuca archipelago, while breathtakingly beautiful, presented a formidable challenge. Hundreds of square miles of open ocean, intricate reef systems, and countless uninhabited islets offered an infinite number of places for a small vessel to disappear. Without a distress signal, a radio call, or even a pre-planned route, the search was akin to finding a needle in an oceanic haystack. Rocomate's team worked tirelessly, their eyes aching from the relentless scrutiny of the waves. But the ocean offered no concessions. Days bled into a week, then two, yet the painstaking efforts yielded nothing. There was no wreckage, no stray life jacket, no debris field to indicate a marine accident. The sea, which had seemed so welcoming, now appeared to have swallowed the young couple and their boat whole, leaving behind an unnerving void. The complete absence of any physical evidence began to sow seeds of doubt, shifting the narrative away from a simple boating mishap. As the initial fervor of the search waned, and with no tangible clues emerging, a new, unsettling theory began to circulate, whispering through the coconut palms and across the resort's hushed corridors. Fueled by the inexplicable lack of evidence of a marine casualty, speculation turned towards a more deliberate act. Could Rhea and Danny have intentionally vanished? The elopement rumors began to take hold, a heartbreaking possibility suggesting that the radiant newlyweds had not been victims of the sea, but rather chosen to disappear, leaving their past lives behind. This theory, however unfounded, offered a convenient explanation for the baffling silence, yet it brought little comfort to those desperate for answers. The initial investigation, despite its intensity, concluded without resolution, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a growing shadow of uncertainty. As weeks turned into months, the relentless search for Rhea Kapoor and Daniel Shaw gradually diminished. The vastness of the Pacific, coupled with the complete absence of debris, proved insurmountable. Resources, both human and financial, began to dwindle, and the initial surge of hope that had fueled the search teams gave way to a somber resignation. Maritime Officer Penny Rocomate, despite his unwavering dedication, was forced to confront the grim reality. Without new leads, the active search could not continue indefinitely. The Mamanuca Islands, once a backdrop for a romantic idyll, now bore the silent weight of an unresolved disappearance, a chilling counterpoint to its postcard-perfect beauty. Ultimately, with no evidence to suggest otherwise, and no bodies or wreckage ever recovered, Rhea and Danny Shaw were officially declared missing, presumed lost at sea. For many, particularly those outside their immediate circle, the prevailing whispers of elopement offered a convenient, if painful, explanation. It allowed the mind to reconcile the inexplicable vanishing with a human choice, however improbable it seemed to their grieving families. The case, once a local sensation, slowly receded from the headlines, becoming a cold file in the archives of Fijian law enforcement, a testament to the ocean's enduring capacity to guard its secrets. 15 years later, the Mamanuca Islands continued to welcome honeymooners, its sparkling waters seemingly erasing the memory of the young couple who had vanished within their embrace. For the broader public, the story of Rhea and Danny Shaw had faded into the distant past, another unsolved mystery swallowed by time. Yet, for their families, the passage of a decade and a half brought no solace. The agony of not knowing, the constant oscillation between hope and despair, remained an open wound. Every sunrise brought the question of where they were. Every sunset left it unanswered. The enduring mystery cast a long shadow. Without a definitive cause, without a single piece of evidence, the case remained suspended in a torturous limbo. The prevailing assumptions settled into two tragic possibilities. Either Rhea and Danny had indeed met a marine accident so catastrophic that it left no trace, or, as the early rumors suggested, they had chosen to disappear. Both scenarios offered a heartbreaking lack of closure, leaving a void that time alone could not fill. The Mamanuca Islands, in their serene indifference, held a secret that seemed destined to remain buried forever beneath the waves. 15 years after Rhea Kapoor and Daniel Shaw vanished into the vastness of the Pacific, the Mamanuca Islands continued their timeless rhythm. Life had moved on, and the mystery of the honeymooners had settled into the deep, silent archives of unsolved cases. Then, on a seemingly unremarkable Tuesday in the spring of 2025, a faint, intermittent electronic pulse registered on a satellite monitoring system. This was not a typical vessel transmission. The signal was an automatic identification system, or AIS, beacon, designed to broadcast a ship's position and identity. What made this particular ping an anomaly was its source. It appeared to emanate from a submerged channel marker, deep within a remote, rarely traversed reef pass far from established shipping lanes. Maritime monitoring personnel, accustomed to the constant chatter of transponders, flagged the unusual activity. An AIS beacon from a fixed submerged object was highly irregular. Channel markers are aids to navigation, fixed in place, not equipped with active AIS transmitters unless specifically designed for complex, high-traffic zones, which this area was not. The signal was weak, sporadic, and deep, suggesting either a malfunction or something far more complex. The anomaly sparked an internal inquiry, a quiet ripple across the digital sea of maritime data. Among those still connected to Fiji's maritime community, now a more senior figure, was Penny Rokomate. The memory of the shore disappearance had never truly left him, a persistent, unresolved thread in his career. When intelligence of the peculiar beacon ping reached his desk, a flicker of something long dormant ignited. The location, the intermittent nature, the sheer improbability of it, all suggested an unusual circumstance. While there was no immediate obvious link to the cold case, the sheer peculiarity of the signal warranted further investigation. Initial efforts focused solely on locating and identifying the source of this peculiar signal. Specialized hydrographic teams were dispatched, equipped with sonar and advanced detection equipment. Their objective was to pinpoint the exact origin of the AIS transmissions and understand why a channel marker, or something near it, was broadcasting such a signal. It was a technical puzzle, an intriguing maritime anomaly that demanded explanation. Yet, beneath the surface of this new investigation, a nascent, unarticulated hope began to stir. This faint, persistent ping, emerging from the depths after so long, represented a potential breakthrough, a whisper from the deep that could finally shatter 15 years of silence. The AIS beacon, broadcasting its unique identification code from the depths, became the singular focus of a renewed, intense investigation. Maritime specialists initiated a painstaking process of cross-referencing this digital signature against vast global databases. Every registered vessel, every sold unit, every rental fleet record across the Pacific region was systematically scrutinized. It was an arduous, meticulous task, sifting through millions of entries for a match to the faint, intermittent pulse emanating from the submerged channel marker. For Penny Rokomate, the flicker of curiosity ignited by the anomalous ping had grown into a persistent, almost obsessive flame. The sheer improbability of the signal's origin, coupled with its remote location within the Mamanuca Islands, resonated with the chilling echoes of the shore disappearance. He understood the profound implications should this signal somehow connect to the 15-year-old mystery. The tension within the small, dedicated team was palpable, a fragile hope, long dormant, now tentatively reawakened. The technical challenges were significant. A beacon submerged for 15 years presented unique data degradation issues. Its intermittent nature made precise triangulation difficult, and the older model of the unit meant fewer data points than modern transponders. Saltwater corrosion and prolonged pressure could distort signals, rendering identification complex. Engineers worked tirelessly, employing advanced filtering algorithms to stabilize the erratic pings and extract every possible byte of information from the aged device. Each successful data extraction, however small, was a victory, slowly building a clearer picture. Slowly, meticulously, the digital breadcrumbs began to form a trail: a manufacturer's batch number, a specific serial prefix, then a rental company's procurement log. Each confirmed detail narrowed the field, pushing the investigation away from a general maritime curiosity towards a specific, chilling possibility. As the evidence mounted, the initial inquiry into an unusual anomaly transformed. The focus sharpened, shifting with undeniable momentum towards the cold case of Rhea Kapoor and Daniel Shaw, and the runabout they had rented 15 years prior. The faint signal was no longer just an anomaly, it was a whisper from the past, demanding to be heard. The painstaking analysis of the recovered AIS beacon data finally yielded its most critical revelation. After weeks of meticulous cross-referencing and technical validation, the unique identification code broadcast from the submerged unit was definitively matched. It belonged to the specific automatic identification system transponder installed on the runabout, rented by Rhea Kapoor and Daniel Shaw on that fateful day 15 years prior. The confirmation was absolute, shattering the long-held silence with the force of a tidal wave. This single piece of electronic evidence, a faint whisper from the deep, irrevocably altered the entire narrative of their disappearance. The profound impact of this discovery was immediate and far-reaching. For a decade and a half, the enduring mystery had been clouded by speculation, most notably the persistent and deeply painful elopement rumors that had haunted the families. With the definitive identification of the beacon, these theories were not merely challenged, they were utterly discredited. The case, once a baffling enigma prone to conjecture, was now unequivocally reframed from a suspected voluntary disappearance to a confirmed marine casualty. The ocean had not swallowed them without a trace, after all. It had merely hidden its secret, with unparalleled cunning. This critical match provided the anchor, allowing investigators to unlock further truths. Maritime experts, combining the beacon's last known operational data with sophisticated oceanographic current modeling, began to reconstruct the likely trajectory of the runabout. The analysis revealed a crucial insight. The prevailing currents in 2010, particularly strong during that season, would have funneled any drifting object through a specific, narrow reef pass. This particular pass, known for its treacherous currents and deep channels, had been overlooked in the initial wide-area searches, precisely because it was considered too dangerous for a small, unpowered vessel to enter and too deep to easily spot debris. The current modeling, when overlaid with the intermittent pings from the beacon, pinpointed a precise location, not just within the pass, but specifically near a submerged channel marker, deep within the treacherous currents. This was the exact point from which the faint signal had been detected 15 years later. The marker, designed to guide larger vessels through the pass, now stood as a silent witness, its presence explaining how the small runabout could have been drawn into its vicinity, perhaps colliding with it, or being capsized by the powerful, unseen forces of the deep. The location, once a blank on the map of their disappearance, was now starkly, tragically, illuminated. With the precise location now identified, the focus shifted from digital analysis to physical recovery. Salvage diver Carlo Lavo, a man whose life had been spent navigating Fiji's treacherous underwater landscapes, assembled his specialized team. Their mission was clear, yet fraught with peril. Descend into the powerful currents of the narrow reef pass to the submerged channel marker and retrieve the remnants of a 15-year-old tragedy. The depths here were significant, and the currents, particularly around the marker, were notorious for their unpredictable strength, making even experienced divers cautious. This was not merely a salvage operation, it was a delicate forensic endeavor, each movement carefully calculated to preserve any potential evidence. The dive itself was a testament to human courage and technological capability. Battling the relentless pull of the water, Lavo's team meticulously surveyed the area around the channel marker. There, resting against the barnacle-encrusted base of the marker, lay the mangled remains of a small vessel. It was the runabout, crushed and distorted by the immense pressure and the passage of time, but undeniably the boat Rhea Kapoor and Daniel Shaw had rented. The discovery sent a ripple of profound emotion through the recovery crew. After 15 years, the ocean had finally surrendered its secret. Piece by painstaking piece, the wreckage was brought to the surface. The sight of the corroded hull, the shattered console, and the rusted engine block offered definitive, heartbreaking proof of a marine casualty. The evidence suggested a sudden, catastrophic event. The boat, likely drawn into the powerful currents of the narrow pass, had been slammed against the unyielding channel marker, perhaps capsizing instantly, trapping its occupants. The impact would have been violent, swift, and utterly unforgiving, leaving no chance for escape or distress calls. For the families of Rhea and Danny, who had endured a decade and a half of agonizing uncertainty, the recovery of the runabout brought a bittersweet, profound closure. The truth, though tragic, was finally revealed. Their loved ones had not abandoned them. They had been victims of the sea's unpredictable fury. The shift from a bewildering whispered mystery to a confirmed accidental death at sea allowed for a grieving process that had been cruelly denied for so long. The resolution of the Shaw case resonated beyond the immediate families. It underscored the relentless persistence of both human dedication and technological advancement. Penny Rockamart's unwavering commitment, combined with the silent, enduring whisper of an AIS beacon, had pierced through the veil of time and rumor. The ocean, for all its vastness and power, could not hold its secrets forever. This tragedy served as a stark reminder of the sea's inherent dangers, but also a testament to the enduring hope that even the coldest cases can, eventually, find their resolution beneath the waves.